Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of JDM Masters, and today we are at Autoback's ASM Yokohama. This is a shop that's wholly owned by Autobacks. We're going to be checking around inside and all these wonderful S2000 cars and their tuning parts and also the Time Attack vehicles, so come and join us. So inside this very airy, nice high-ceiling shop, it's really brightly lit. There are a lot of interesting things, and what you immediately see is all these Recaro seats lined up to the ceiling and takes up most of the floor space. Over in that corner are some original products and accessories. We have some t-shirts and merchandise. And behind that screen over there is their S2000 demo car and the workshop where they do tuning. Further back in this corner you can see the Time Attack car, which is really interesting. It did 56 seconds on the Tsukuba, and over here some display of the S2000's engine using some ASM parts and Toyota racing parts, and over on that shelf there is a display of original OEM Honda parts and a selection of parts that ASM uses in their tuning concept. And we're going to be checking out in detail from now, starting history. So let's look at what ASM really is. As the name implies from the word Autobacks, it is actually wholly owned by the Autobacks 7 Group, which is the biggest car accessory shop in Japan. And you can see in our previous video, we went to one of their Super Autobacks shops, but this is something a little bit special. And the story goes back to 2003, when the director Kanayama-san actually told his boss and said, look, he loves S2000s and also Recaro seats, and he had this concept to do a motorsports challenge. He actually managed to pitch to make this very facility right here, which opened in 2005. What's interesting is that before this shop actually opened, he had this S2000, as you can see behind me, was his own car. They had another car which they used for Time Attack Challenge from 2003. That very car you see in the photo, which is taken on the nice streets of Minato-Mirai, actually then evolved year by year with tuning and research into this Time Attack Super machine that you see over here. So this car is actually what you see in that poster. We're going to be taking a look at that in a little bit more detail. So ASM really is about two things. Recaro seats, as you can see from this huge lineup behind me, and S2000s. They're really focused on just one single model, and they have been through their 15 years of history. But also now they do two other models like the Toyota 86 and the Subaru BRZ, and also the Nissan 350Z. But S2000s really is their specialty. They've been tuning it using parts from other manufacturers, but giving their own little formula. And also on outside, as you can see here, there are really fine S2000s for sale. And what interests us is this particular car, which, look at the price tag, it's 9 million yen, which is about 90,000 US dollars, almost as expensive as a really good condition Honda NSX or R34 GTR. What's inside? We're going to be checking it out later. And also, there are a couple of real JDM Type S, the last run-off editions, and in really good condition. Prices are a bit expensive, but all that includes their maintenance, restoration, and the cars of the finest quality. So we'll be having a look at some of the Recaro range and how some of these models are actually just only for Japan, because Recaro has their own development set to here. But we'll be going into detail in the next upcoming video, so make sure to watch out for that. So let's have a run through of all the Recaro seats that are on display in ASM. And now, if you're in Japan and you want to sample and check out the Recaro seats, this is the best place you can come. Just all this range, and they have everything from luxury type seats here, if you have an Alphard or a Crown, and bucket seats if your car doesn't come originally with one. Here's a specific JDM model, and this one as well, with very nice materials here. If you have a Mini or a Porsche or some other European car, you might want to check out this one. And this is the most interesting model because it was actually developed in conjunction with ASM. More on that in the next video. Full bucket seat, that's only for Japan. And it reaches to the ceiling, and it's just like a real catalog, even a museum, but it's actually just a showcase of all the different models. This one right here is their latest full bucket seat, and it's interesting because it's made of padding. And this is a classic model which is sold also in other countries. This actually looks the same as the one in the Evo 6 and the Euro R. These ones here have been in existence since the 80s. You can actually have your Recaro seat in the office as well. Now I like this. In Japan, this is the boss seat that you gotta have, man. You know? Now, Recaro calls this the 24-hour seat because you can sit in this for 24 hours and work on your desk, and it just gives you that body refreshment because your spine supported. More about that, okay, in our next video. So ASM has a little story. That is the new logo, which is on their Time Attack car, and it's their corporate logo used on their merchandise as well. And you can see that it's a huge red circle, but there's a little interesting story to that. Director Kanayama-san is a big Honda fan, and of course he loves S2000, S2000 being a Honda. But if we come around here, it's very evident where that inspiration comes from. Now this is the early 2000s Honda bar racing F1 car, Takuma Sato and Jensen Button, for astute fans that you might know. And if we go further back in time, there's another poster there which shows Honda's original F1 car, the RA272 and 273. You see that little red circle? That's the Japanese flag. And that coloring combined with the 2003 Lucky Strike BAR racing F1 car, these concepts of the design was used in their corporate logo, the word ASM design. And it's very interesting. We'll see later on their Time Attack demo car how that livery is actually inspired by the BAR. So it's very clear that even though ASM is a part of Autobacks, but it's really focused on one particular model, and they've gained quite a huge reputation for that, especially in the tuning scene. You're like a little upstart coming 15 years ago, and what's unique about that is that Kanayama-san is actually an employee of Autoback 7, but he asked his boss to give the approval to make this facility, especially for two things, for Recaro seats as a showcase and to have like the best selection of Recaro seats, that they even collaborated on one particular model, which you're going to look at in the demo car. But he had an S2000 and he wanted to race them and promote the tuning for that. And you know, in the competition with like Mugen and Spoon and Jay's Racing and all the other big Honda tuning names, how did they actually come up to this level? And it's all because of competition. So we're here at the merchandise section, a little showcase here, and you can see inside they have the original stickers in very high quality. That sticker at the back there says Attack Maximum Challenge, their motto for their Time Attack vehicles, which they keep improving. Actually, Albo has one on his yellow S2000 now. Little stickers here, key rings, they even have gloves. You can come here and check out and maybe buy some of it. I like this. Very high quality short sleeve t-shirt. And ooh, what's this one? Oh, it's an ASM leather jacket. I gotta get this. This is so cool. And this looks like a FA20 engine throttle adapter of some sort. You can see here. This is the electronic throttle body. It's got a Toyota Racing sticker, and they have actually developed some original parts in conjunction with using other parts. So we're going to have a look at that. Ooh, look here. This looks like an exhaust manifold for a V6 engine. There's two parts here, as you can see. Three. Probably this is for their 370Z. Of course, makers, small makers like this, get a bigger maker to make products for them according to their specification. This is very common in the industry. Skins for the bucket seats, Oh, this is more interesting. It has the ASM logo, paddings as well. So it's not just for S2000 fans, people who come here and they want to reshell or get a new Recaro seat, whatever car. We just saw a Porsche 911 GT3 RS that came in. It's inside there. He's probably getting a new Recaro bucket shell. S2000 magazines. I like that. That's very close to, this is a JDM Type S, which in America is a more hardcore version called the CR, but of course you'll see here very famous Hyper-Ref books, S660, Roadster, Impreza, Rev Speed, in which of course their cars have appeared many times. So ASM has distributors in America and in Europe and also in Hong Kong. The homepage is all in Japanese, and we're going to have a look. If you go to autobacks-asm.com, and if you want to look at their products, press the menu here and original parts, and you can see here a selection of things. Let's go to S2000 and have a look. And if you go down there, and you can see exterior, interior, intake, exhaust, suspension system, brake system. And let's have a look at the first one. Okay, we have bumpers and some canards and body kit and the throttle body adapter, which is an increase of 65 pi. And look here, here it is. So this is a display of a standard F20C engine, and they use Toda 4-throttle intake with the carbon intake cleaner box. And if you look inside here, intake funnel is also made of carbon fiber. One advantage of using an intake plenum is so that the torque is more even as you're using a normal air filter, but you get the response of a full throttle. So Toda Racing makes some of the best tuning parts for a lot of JDM cars, which is why they use it. But they have developed their own crank pulleys. You can see the finishing nice bit of aluminium, and you've got 3 pieces here for the crank and the accessories. But this is an ASM special original exhaust manifold, very high quality welding, mandrel bends. This is a 4-to-2-to-1 system, and the whole exhaust system capped back into a twin exhaust system, not a single one. What I like about this is the tail finisher pipe. It's a very unique design. Definitely stands out from other manufacturers like even Fujitsu or Spoon or Mugen. You can see how the flange here is kind of tapered, and there are holes here. And this is just for completely for style, but it's also performance. And here you can see ASM logo and the what they call the Sacrum range. Very high quality finish, especially for a very small maker. And this is just some of the parts that make it, like it gives the cars kind of identity. On the shelf we have a range of different products that they use, carbon fiber Mugen intake and some plates here, but we want to check out their original parts. Now here on the website you see the ASM GTWorks Genbrom AP1 and the AP2 ECU, which lowers the VTEC point and also creates with more power, and it's right here. Oh, it's pretty expensive for the AP1, but it's a full reprogram, and we have 2 models here. It says do not touch. Okay, I'm not going to touch, but you can see clearly from the logo there that this is this. And if you want to get these ECUs, if you're overseas, you can get it through their dealers. Now for the AP1, it's pretty expensive. It's $2,000 US, but features and functions that you can also use with a lot of the tuning parts. But in Japan, they flash your ROM. For the AP2, it's a little bit cheaper actually. It's priced at half the price at $1,000. ASM spec clutch and flywheel disc. And the clutch is also very important when you're going for more power. Here racing 4-puck and 3-puck clutches. This is an interesting original product. Now this is the clutch pedal box, which over here is the clutch pedal, as you can see. And so this actually is a reinforcement part that goes behind and stiffens this. So this part here, that's the original stock one, as you can see from the shell. And the ASM version has additional bracings to make the clutch operation stiffer, and especially when you go for a very hard clutch full of power, Apparently, this is one of the weak points of the Honda S2000's original design, and they've developed their own interesting parts. The same with this body bracing thing here for the transmission. G-ready high capacity differential casing. The original S2000 has a very small capacity differential box. In fact, if you go on the track, the oil capacity is not enough. So even other manufacturers, they have their own large capacity and with cooling fins. So this is obviously from the development of testing Time Attack. And the Time Attack is very, very severe because it's not a race. You have all the track to yourself and you go full out. You get all the problems like, increasing oil temperature and water temperature, especially in all parts, not just the engine, the transmission. And in a car like Time Attack one, focuses a lot on cooling as well. Here are some exterior parts, ASM's original logo with the side mirrors, very nice, high quality. Now this is the original concept cut scale model of the very shop that I'm inside right now. And this is what Kaneyama-san presented to his boss and said, let's make this, And it actually became a reality. This is just such a great story of, an employee of a big company that says, we want to do this, we can achieve this dream and went for it. It's sort of a different success story in its own way. Now, as a chassis engineer myself, I'm always concerned about the geometry and the strength of the body itself and the suspension components, especially the subframe. A lot of cars that offer road use, usually it's sufficient, but if you're going for a Time Attack car that has to generate a lot of grip, usually there's some weaknesses that come in from the subframe. Now, ASM has the very original part, which as you see behind me here. This is the rear subframe, and we're going to take a look at, first of all, the price. It's really priced. It's $2,300 US. And this is if you want to go the full mile and you want to build a really high-level Time Attack car. They've taken a stock subframe and added plates, as you can see here, to strengthen the midsection. This is upside down. This is facing the road. So what you're seeing is the bottom of the car. You can see over here, they've added plates over here, here, over here, and down here, and also on the upper arm. So this is where the upper wishbone goes in. The original one doesn't have these plates to make it into a square. But what's interesting is that it's not just, simply adding different plates in. They've considered the moment of force and the stresses. If you add one plate here, forces goes into the opposite side, and so they've calculated very precisely on both sides to reduce the stresses that meet each other when in the center. So of course it's heavier than the original, but if you can't afford this, they have other parts here. For example, this is very beautifully finished, made by Succeed Sports to ASM specifications, a nice logo here, and this is something you can use on your stock S2000 subframe. That part goes into this part, which is near where the rear differential is, and a host of other different parts as well to strengthen the floor. Now, it's very important in a convertible car. Now, the S2000 already has this very highly rigid X-bone frame chassis, but if you increase the power and you want to go for that preciseness, these parts are needed. This one here interests me quite a lot, priced at almost $600. It's a lightened version of the original stainless steel front reinforcement frame, and this is 2.5 kilos. It's quite a lot. Roll bars, and oh wow, this is a beautiful carbon fiber under tray. So this is the price of this, $5,000 for a dry carbon finish smooth front under tray. So I'm standing next to ASM Autobax's Time Attack S2000, and you can see from this shape in front of me. Let's look at the livery we talked about earlier, and you can see how this white body with the red circles and just little accents here, like the gold and the black and the red on the side, and also on the bonnet, it's meant to resemble the BAR Honda F1 car, which is Kaneyama-san's one of his favorite liveries. But it's more than just the looks. It's very subtle, and it looks very different from other liveries from other manufacturers, of course. But a lot of the parts, for example, the carbon fiber roof is a Mugen part, You have these wide body kits, of course, developed from years of trial and error for aerodynamics. Look at this huge front splitter. It's really large and it sticks up quite a lot, but this is quite typical of modern time attack cars to get that maximum balance between downforce and also cornering grip. Now, he explained to me that the concept of this time attack car is not for maximum downforce, neither is it for top speed. The engine sitting inside there is a fully tuned 2.4 liter F20 or F22C. It's a Toda engine, and you can see here the racing style, individual throttle bodies. This is also very interesting. It's not open. It's a huge one-piece sponge air filter, and obviously you can see the body in white, and these panels are all made of dry carbon fiber, obviously, but everything inside here is just a racing car. Equipment-wise, this carbon fiber guide box actually directs air from the radiator. As you can see, it's sitting almost horizontal. It's at a slight tilt angle, and it directs air from the underneath. This is very, very close to a Super GT race car. It's built with that kind of concept in mind, and all that air gets exhausted out this carbon fiber bonnet, huge vent. Just looking like something that should be in GT500. Very interesting. The rear wing is also really huge. And more of interest is how wide it comes up to align with the wider body kit here. The shape is something that I'm seeing as a similar design in a GT300 car with the straight up winglets that just raise up more downforce, but also the height and also down at the boot lid. All these things combined give it a very, very definite downforce, which is not too much, but it's enough for a balance between high speed. And all this, what did they achieve? In Tsukuba, which in Japan is the standard for a sports car time attack. This was last year, 2019, they achieved 56 seconds, 875. It may not be that impressive sounding because there are cars that are faster than this, but not forgetting that this is still a naturally aspirated engine car, so in the region of maybe 300 or more wheel horsepower. And to do 56 seconds on the Tsukuba is really, really impressive, actually. So this is the best result that they've achieved last year, and they probably keep challenging. And on this poster here, this is the signature of Shigeru Uehara, which is the designer of all the Type Rs, the NSX, and also the S2000. So. His signature's here. Otokov was the engineer of the S2000's engine. As a very small company, we were able to achieve this kind of results, and using that R&D knowledge into specifying what they should have for the parts of the exhaust, for example, the ECU, and most impressive, as we covered earlier, is the subframe. And we're going to take a look at that car inside there right now. It's apparently been fitted with the front reinforced subframe. Let's go have a look. So we've got a customer's car in here, I think being fitted for a Recaro seat, GT3 RS with nice full Rothman colors. Yeah, he's probably getting a new seat. Oh, that looks like a customer's car, and we're going to have a look at the parts underneath it. The mechanic is fitting the ASM's reinforced front lower subframe onto the customer's S2000. This is the original FRP front bumper, very aggressive slats coming here, just widen. You can see now the mechanic is fitting the bolt that goes through the subframe onto attached to the body. Here also we've got more parts. The suspension is a three-way separate reservoir made by Sachs. Very high spec, obviously for a circuit car. He has endless 4-port calipers of very close to racing spec, but this is where it gets interesting. Now, the S2000 has a weak point with the upper mounting of the front A-arm. This part usually gets cracked. And their solution is to also use either spoons brackets or they weld it for reinforcement. But their focus really is on the other parts that other makers do not have. And so this thing right here, we're wondering why there's a big block over here. This is a roll center adjuster to readjust the geometry of the angles. When you lower the car, the arms actually go up. So you need to put it down to get the original geometry back. Now over here is the demo car for customers. So this is a AP1 or AP2, very nice glass soft top cover in different color, carbon fiber. I like this carbon fiber trunk with a different wing. But what's interesting about this is the seat. So there's a little story. This is fitted with the ASM limited edition RSG. I'm gonna sit in it. Now there's a little story that Kanayama-san told me. The RSG is actually developed by Recaro Japan in cooperation with ASM to fit it perfectly into a Honda S2000, because the Honda S2000's cockpit is pretty narrow, even compared to the Roadster. And all right, so I'm gonna just adjust it a little bit, move myself forwards. This is my good position. So this is 40 millimeters lower than the stock seat, and I'm angled back. The feeling is very, very race car-like feeling. Confident. I've got enough shoulder support, and on the head, if you have a helmet, the curvature here is enough that you are having your head straight and supported right like that. And because the S2000 can't adjust the brake or even the reach of the steering wheel, the only way to adjust yourself is by the seat. And lowering the seat at the correct angle. And my hand position is now really, really nice. It's at a flat right angle like this. Do I look like Gordon now? One hand steer. And also, these seats are obviously, you can use it in any other car, but it's interesting to see how Recaro, such a big brand, have worked together with ASM just to develop it, especially for this car. So S2000 owners, this is, I think, a really nice JDM product to have if you have this car. Oh, this is very interesting. Look at the shape of this mirror, of this rearview mirror. Look at the shape of this. It's curved in such a way that maybe, you can also, this part gives you maximum visibility out the side. Oh, interesting. All right, so getting out of this RSG from the S2000, push it back a little bit, door out, and the side sills really aren't that high. You can really get in and out without too much trouble. So let's go outside now and have a look at some of their used cars for sale. Oh, I'm liking this. This has got the AP2 Type S front spoiler, and interestingly, it uses the NSX emblem, not the original S2000 one. It's more square from the early 90s, and over here I think is a genuine Type S. All the things are put together, like the wheels, the black emblem, the rear spoiler, but this is more interesting. Now this is priced at 9.3 million yen, which is about 90,000 US dollars. Why is it so expensive? That's on the same price as maybe a R34 GTR fully tuned, like what Japonic has, or a nice NSX. Why pay so much for this? Well, besides the very obvious Mugen carbon fiber bonnet and the carbon fiber roof and the rear spoiler, inside the heart of this is a 2.35 liter fully tuned Toyota engine, and at the crank it probably gives 300 horsepower. So all the parts that we saw inside already done to this car, and I can imagine also looking from the wide 285 wheels, the suspension probably, it also has the full reinforced subframes, as you can see. So this is like a complete ASM and Toyota car. Should be very amazing to drive, and if anyone of you are interested in this, well, give them a call. Ooh, look what we have here. Did Elbow come or Jackie come? It's not. It's another yellow S2000 with the ASM front bumper. So here's a good example of just their front bumper with a stock looking car. Inside it's got that weird looking guppy shaped mirror. But yeah, there's no price tag, so probably it's a customer's car. But there's more over there. We got an FK8 Civic Type R. Maybe that's a staff's car, I'm not too sure. But this red S2000 with a Mazda badge, yeah, that's fully too. We're going to do a story on that as well. So if you want to see a story comparison, let us know in the comments. We'll definitely do that. But let's look at this weird S2000 over here with multicolored. I think that's a customer's car. It probably has some parts replaced and it's getting ready to go spray paint. Here is a normal AP2 or maybe a late version AP1, priced at 3.8 million yen. That sounds like it's got low mileage. Here is another genuine Type S, and you can put the front spoiler, you can put the emblems, you can put the rear wing, but you can't get the seats. This is the original AP2 Type S seats. It's got the yellow and black centerpiece and the yellow stitching, and I think it would be quite hard to get a Type S seat. So this is a fully stock one. This one's got a different rear bumper, not completely stock, but it's got the rights, wheels, the emblem, the rear wing, and it's got the seats replaced with something else. S2000 never had a Type R, so this is the maximum model. You guys are lucky in the US, you get the CR, which is even more hardcore. It doesn't have the soft top at all. Wow. Two more over there. I see a lot of silver cars, more than other colors. Japanese owners usually like to buy white, black, or silver. Other colors are not so popular. So I hope you guys enjoyed the little walk around about the ASM and their cars. We're going to be taking a look at maybe more in-depth in future to maybe their other parts or the race car itself in detail, and maybe have an interview with Hanayama-san. So if you guys enjoyed this video, let us know in the comments what other parts you'd like us to do, what other shops you'd like us to do. And until then, catch you guys next time. Peace out.